When working with functions, we need to determine the set of inputs for which the function makes sense. This set of inputs, or numbers, is called the domain, and the domain is measured by the x values, and always the x values. The domain of f is the same as the domain of the variable x in the expression f of x. So when identifying the domain of a function, you need to remember, please do not forget that division by zero is undefined. And such, the values must be excluded from the domain. So if you have a denominator with variables, set it equal to 0 and exclude those values found. So we're going to find the domain of each function, and we're going to write the domain in interval notation. And remember, interval notation is always from smallest to largest. So we have f of x equals x squared plus 1. There is no denominator with a variable in it. And since there is none, we can say that the domain of this function runs from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity, or just all real numbers. Next we have g of x equals 2x plus 1 over x minus 5. I don't really care about the 2x plus 1, I'm only focused on the bottom, x minus 5. I'm going to take that and set the denominator equal to 0, and then solve for x. So add 5 to both sides. X is going to equal 5, which means this value must be excluded from the domain. So when I write in my domain, I start from negative infinity, and I keep going down the number line until I get to my excluded value, which is 5. Put a parentheses in and union it, and then start from the other side of 5, and just keep on going down the number line until I hit infinity. And this will give me the domain of this function. Negative infinity to 5, union 5 to infinity, because again 5 has been excluded. Here I have the function h of x equals x plus 5 over 2x plus 1. Again, I don't care what's in the top, I'm only focused in the bottom, the 2x plus 1. So I take that and set it equal to 0 and solve. Subtract 1 from both sides. 2x equals negative 1. Divide by 2 on both sides. X is going to equal negative a half, which again, this value must be excluded from the domain. I have to remove negative 1/2. So when I write in my domain, I can say it runs from negative infinity all the way up to my first excluded value, which is negative a half. Then I'm going to union it and pick up from the other side of negative 1/2 and keep on going to the right forever, which will give me positive infinity. So the domain of this function runs from negative infinity to negative 1/2, union negative 1/2 to infinity, because I excluded this value from the denominator. Last, f of x equals 4x minus 9 over 5. I again do not care about the top, I'm only focused on the bottom. Now there is no variable in the bottom, but what happens if you just set it equal to 0 anyway? Well, you get 5 equals 0, and 5 is not 0, 0 is not 5. This is not possible, so there's nothing to exclude. So I can say that the domain of this function is again all real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity, like so.